Today we are taking a deep dive on Esteban Solano's 2003 2500 HD. This started out as a two-wheel drive truck, but by the time Esteban was done with it, it was a four-wheel drive, solid axle swapped, rock crawling machine. I'm stoked to bring this build to you. It's been a long time coming. I've done a bunch of trips with Esteban, and this truck is as capable as it is well built.
So it's a 2003 2500. Started off as a two-wheel drive. I built it specifically I bought it specifically to build it into what it is now. Had an 83 K30 donor, took the front axle and transfer case out of it, and swapped everything into it. ORD front kit for the solid axle swap. I currently have Superlift 2.5-inch springs in it. Thinking about doing the 52s with some better shocks just to get a little more cush. When I first put them in, they were flat.
Are you supposed to be sitting on the bump stock?
Yeah. It's by design. It's all by design.
And what shocks?
Those are just Pro Comps E3000s, front and rear.
And you were telling me with this axle swap, because you were a two-wheel drive, you were able to stick with the steering box, drag link, no drag link, but steering box was able to remain the same.
Yeah, steering box. I just had to change the arm on it.
Okay, the Pitman arm. So what about underneath? What was the prep like underneath to get this thing ready for an axle?
Underneath, it was fairly easy cutting everything off, down to a frame, really. And even the engine cross member I had to take out. So I built a new engine cross member for it, which is essentially just a bar with brackets on it. And then the ORD kit is fairly simple to put on. Drill some holes, bolt it on.
Talk to me about the rest of the truck. You've done a ton of work on the body protection, sliders. Honestly, considering where you take it and where we have stuffed this truck into, it's amazingly clean and straight.
So that was the goal when I built the body protection. So the front bumper wraps around, protect the front. The sliders are 9 feet of steel.
And you built everything?
Yes. The sliders all the way from front to back. Rear bumper wraps around to the rear, to the sides, the protection there so it doesn't move and it gets beat up. The belly skid is all flat. Yeah, it all gets used. And it keeps the rocks and everything from grabbing my truck, the body. There has very little body damage from wheeling. 2 years of wheeling hard. So,
running gear, axle ratios, traction devices. What do you have?
So the front's Chevy Dana 60 with 513s. Rear is a 14-bolt 513s. Spartan locker in the front and a Detroit in the rear. 35 spline axles in the front axle shafts, the stubs. And worn hubs, Dirty Life beadlocks, 37-inch Patagonias.
How are those doing for you?
They're doing okay. They're wearing a little quickly. I've had about 6,000 miles on them.
That's it?
Yeah. And they're wearing a little quick.
Those are 6,000 hard miles.
Yeah, rough rocks, rough trails. Okay. So that I've had it a few months now. I wanted to keep it above the bed to make the bed useful, but below the cab, so less wind drag.
Yep.
Made it easy accessible so I can reach into the back without unloading the whole thing. It tilts up.
And it's relatively easy to take off and on.
Yeah, 4 bolts and it comes off and on.
That's fantastic.
150 pounds, so it's two people.
It's
simple. It's easy. It was a simple build. Just accumulates over time, but
I'm stunned by the stuff. I mean, yesterday when we were coming through those canyons,
yeah.
I'm looking behind me and I'm just sitting there going, this is awesome. I love watching your truck wheel.
Yeah.
Just because it's like whenever I feel a little puckered, I know.
Yeah. Yeah, I do trails and I'm worried about it, and then when it conquers whatever obstacles ahead of it, I get out and I go, yes.
Yeah.
Give it a little pat on the dash there and thank her every time.
What problems have you had?
Problems, probably this front springs mainly, just figuring out what I want to run up there. The drive shaft is a big thing.
So
since it's
you've got a carrier bearing. This is a two-piece shaft?
Two-piece shaft. I think it's a 5-foot, the rears are 5-foot shaft from the carrier bearing to the axle. What I do get a question a lot is 37s, and if I'm gonna go bigger, and I think unless I want to throw money at the axles, I don't want to go bigger just because of the weight, right? So
Are you 35 spline up front?
I'm 35 spline up front now,
Fine.
but so the other thing is just getting into the body. I don't want to get into the body with the tires as much.
Do you rub at all right now?
A little,
Okay.
sometimes if under full stuff, the front rubs, but the rear tires tuck up nicely, and it's gotten me where I want it to go with 37. So, yeah, so we've done the Rubicon Trail
Multiple times.
multiple times. Been out
With
to
4 people in it.
yeah, I had my 3 kids in it. Yeah, so we had 2 kayaks, 4 people, all our gear for 4 days of wheeling. Went to Moab a few times already. Did most of the trails out there. You know, not the tighter ones.
Hell's Revenge.
Hell's
Behind
Revenge.
the Rocks. Moab Rim.
Top of the World, Pickle, which was probably the tightest one. Both times it did extremely well in all of them.
Yeah.
Took it through Utah or through Colorado. The passes up in Colorado, it was gorgeous up there. Big Bear, we did John Bull, did Holcomb, Miller Jeep Trail.
Would you change anything?
No, I like it. It works.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's
the
awesome.
whole thing just works.
Any modifications? Any modifications to the engine,
No, I haven't done anything. It's stock.
transmission?
Nothing to the transmission, nothing to the engine. It's all stock. I like it like that. It's reliable. I'm not messing with anything
Parts
on it.
store.
Yeah.
Hydraulic steering.
Hydraulic steering, a PSC RAM on it.
Okay. Single battery.
Single battery. Lost a drive shaft one time and
The
lost.
high centered. That's probably your biggest challenge.
Yeah, and that's where the like yesterday's trail.
Oh,
Front
bro.
tires off the ground, rear tires off the ground, and I'm being dragged. That was
What
that
were you
was the
being-
worst one
What were you being dragged by?
by some badass K30. Yep.
I love this. Why didn't you brag about that? That is clutch.
What about it?
Where's your rear?
It's over there, above the rear.
That's your rear. Oh, dude. And then you got one axle.
I have a long side, a short side, and then the front drive shaft is right here, and the rear drive shaft above the rear.
Oh, I like your CB mount.
Yeah.
That's very cool. And this is a super clean install of this 205. Look at your frame rails.
They're so beat up. Look at them up. Look at the exhaust. Oh. The little portion that's stuck down below no longer stuck down below.
Look at that giant booger weld on your cat.
Oh, it's so bad.
Oh my gosh, was that a gap you were trying to close?
I think it was a leak.
Dude, you filled it with there's like 8 pounds of wire. Oh man. I love all the way everything's tied in.
What? It's my reservoir.
I know exactly what it is. I did it too. It's super ghetto.
It's welded on. It's not a piece of pipe. I mean, it's not rubber. It's welded on.
Oh. Yeah, mine was just radiator hose.
Mine started like seeping through.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just ate it.
Switch it to that. I didn't want it to blow, so I was like, I don't make it all solid.
And so this is still factory cooling, like
Everything's
factory radiator, factory transcooler.
I added an auxiliary transcooler. So I have 2 transcoolers. Both of those are transcoolers.
And does it run through the radiator too, or just?
Yes.
Esteban stopped by my shop to pick up some springs for the front of his build. We could not resist throwing his big beast up on the lift to get a closer look at all the awesomeness underneath. Esteban has asked that I not directly show his welds, so I'm going to find the worst one I can. We should have a competition of who has the most booger welds. I think I would give you a good run for your money, dude. Look at your oil pan. You most definitely hit it, dude.
I got hammered. Oh, it's my front seal.
Look at this.
Yeah. That's the one. And they hit here too.
And on this pan. Oh,
Did
bro.
it hit that pan?
Well, it's been hitting this pan a bunch. This is the ORD solid axle swap for GMT 800s.
Yes.
And it consists of these two front bolt-on hangers and these rear bolt-on hangers. So Esteban, walk us through what you had to do to make this fit. What did you have to cut? What was problematic?
So the frame normally has brackets all along here from front to back that need to be removed, cut off, removed somehow. I chose a plasma cutter and a grinder. Once it's all clean, it's fairly easy to bolt everything back on, drill all the holes you need. There is a cross member that gets removed in this general vicinity.
Okay.
And so I built this cross member that goes along just from passenger driver there. Simple, straight bar. Other than that, everything is bolt on.
Yeah, it really is funny. Like it's not the reverse of taking a solid axle kit and making it an IFS truck. You're literally just cutting off crap until you've got nothing left to cut off. And then you're bolting springs onto the frame.
Yeah, and then you need to figure out shock mounts.
And steering is for you for a two-wheel drive. That's the trick, is having a two-wheel drive truck. You get the box on the inside of the frame and you just have to change your pitman, right?
Yes, that's all I have to do for two-wheel drive. I don't know what four-wheel drive it is.
Yeah.
What that design is. The only thing is shock mounts, which I use
Ford Towers.
Ford Towers, and bump stops, which I use the bump stop off the rear of the truck and just made a mount for them. Very archaic, but they worked.
What year is your truck? 2005?
2003.
3?
Yeah. So I didn't do anything to the frame. I just unbolted everything, and then I cut off the bed. Because the rear quarters went down fairly far.
Yeah. Yeah, so you
that I
just
cut off. And this weekend, this bumper saved my taillight and bed.
Yeah, they just nerf you off stuff. That's the whole point.
It really helped this weekend.
And this is a shackle flip kit?
Yes, RD.
ORD shackle flip, ORD hangers,
Bolt on.
and your bump stops.
Uh-huh.
I really like this bumper. This came out great. Is it your own design, or did you come up with it, or?
Yeah, just looking at different designs I just kind of came up with my own.
To see more solid axle swapped goodness, check out the video I did on my buddy Duke's build. And to see these trucks in action doing what they were built for, take a look at this Rubicon video that we put together from our trip this year.